I will call to order the Government Oversight and Finance Audit Budget Committee meeting of January 15th, 2025. First order is Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item is adoption of agenda.
Support Center.
I have a motion by Commissioner Romano, supported by Commissioner Zinner. Any discussion on the agenda? If not, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Next item is approval of minutes, Government Oversight Committee minutes dated December 4th, 2024. Finance Audit Budget Committee minutes dated December 10th, 2024. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gratz, supported by Commissioner Perna. Any discussion on the meeting minutes? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is our first of two public participations. This public hearing is for anything dealing with agenda items. You have 3 minutes to discuss anything that's on the current agenda. The appointee interviews will be excluded from public participation, as we will get to each of those. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on any agenda item? Once, twice, we will close public participation. Next item is appointment interviews for County Commissioner District 1. We're going to allow 3 minutes for each of the candidates to be interviewed, recognizing we do have everybody's resumes here. So we will start with David Bartolotta. And if I butcher anybody's name, I already apologize.
You said it right.
You're first, Daniel.
Thank you. I want to thank the Board of Commissioners for allowing me this time. You said my name right, Dan Bartolotta. I tell everybody I go to the Bartolotta and they can pronounce it correct. So you didn't butcher it. I'd like to thank the board again for allowing me this time to speak. My name is Dan Bartolotta. I'm a longtime resident of Macomb County. I lived in all areas of Macomb County. I lived in the southern end, Roseville. Then I moved out to, later on as I grew up, I moved out to Sterling Heights for a little while, then Shelby Township for about 8 years. Where later my wife and I decided to raise our family on Washington Township, which we refer to as the Romeo area. So being out there over 24 plus years, we love the community, love the people out there. They all know us. We raised our family there. My wife's a Romeo school teacher, and it's in my interest now to be a part of that community and serve in a better way. Before I go on to that, I'd like to thank Don Brown for his 34 plus years in community service. Don has done a great job in our area. Like him, hate him, the guy's always there. He's at every event. Don has done a great job in there. I don't think Candace Miller could have picked a better candidate if she tried to. I really don't. That being said, again, like I said, I'm a longtime resident. Spoke to most of you on the board here, the ones I could find phone numbers to, and reached out to you to ask what qualifications you were looking for a Board of Commissioners for District 1. I seem to have checked off everybody's box that I've spoken to. When I asked the question, what are you looking for? Everybody seemed like they're looking for somebody who could work with somebody. I'm very good at working with people. Even if we don't agree, we agree to disagree. But in the end, we care about the citizens of our county. We care about the citizens in our area. So it's all in our best interest to work to a common goal. That being said, my background, I worked for Magna International for a little over 30, I hate to give my age away, but a little over 30 years. I've been in the automotive industry most of my career. It's a tough market. Over the last year, it's probably the toughest I've ever been in. I have 70 plus families that rely on me. I run the division I'm at. Magna is a $40 billion a year corporation. My division is a small part of that. It's an engineering R&D center called VIMA International of America. And again, I'm responsible for budgets. I've always been responsible for budgets, but over the last several years, even more so. Being that I'm second in command of the company now, I have everybody's budget that reports to me. I have probably about several different managers that report to me on a yearly basis. We go over everybody's budgets. We have monthly meetings to review that they're all within their budgets. I sign off on most of the recs that go out there unless it's above my dollar allotment amount, and do pretty good at it. Doing pretty good at it because if you know anything about corporate America, they have to answer to their stockholders, and they're brutal. So a couple times I've been called down on the carpet and got my butt beat, but I can always come out on top because we know how to get programs in. My customer base loves me. I say what I do and I do what I say. Nothing worse than committing and then not following through. So I'm a very loyal person when it comes to my customer base. If my customers here right now, they'd all just vouch for you. They say, yeah, give the kid the job because they all love me because I do what I say. And that, to me, is one of the most important things about this commissioner position is you want to be able to meet your people, talk to the people, find out what their needs are, which I have a good grasp on in our area, but find out what they're looking for and find out what the county can give them, what the county can't give them, and be able to go back and explain. It's about educating your community. And being that my wife's an educator, I also feel like I'm an educator. When it comes to work, I educate the people because you have 70 people there underneath you. Everybody don't agree. Everybody might not like this person, they might not like that person, but in the end, we have a common goal. And I don't care how we get to that common goal, as long as we can reach it. And I don't care who takes the credit. I'm not that person. I don't care who gets the credit. Even if it was my idea, I don't care. You did it, I don't care. So that's just the kind of person I am. That being said, again, I love the area of
Please
Washington.
conclude your remarks.
I'm sorry?
Please conclude.
Yes. And in conclusion, I'd like to just, again, thank the board for your time. I have a large community that, that very much is supportive of myself. And we'll get their backing. Either way, I have their backing. So I hope that you guys will consider me, look at my resume, look at my application. And any of you have any comments or questions after this, please feel free to call me up if you're allowed to. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
I do have a standard question that I'm going to ask all the applicants, and you're first, so the rest of them get to know in advance that it's coming.
Okay.
What is your strategy to work with the 9 communities in District 1 that had one of the largest areas for a county commissioner with the 9 districts? So do you have a strategy for that?
Yeah, I meet with everyone. I meet with everybody here. I've lived, like I say, I lived in the South, Middle, and Northern. I know the weaknesses are in each community. I lived in Roseville most of my life. I've seen how the counties were not, which I consider the county, the board probably at the time, were not funding certain areas in Roseville when I grew up at. I've seen how we were neglected. That being said, throughout my years, I would reach out to the people of Roseville, reach out to the people of the Warren, reach out to the people of the northern ends, and try to tie everybody together. It's, again, like I was telling you, it's not all about what I can do, it's what we can do together. And my strategy is just everybody work together and find out what our needs are, what your needs are, what everybody else's needs are. And don't take credit to try to, I can't be everywhere every time, but I know who can, and that person will have to be there. So my strategy is to work together as a team.
Thank
It's
you.
all about being a team.
You may or may not know I'm the former mayor of Roseville. Nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, we'll move on to Wayne Connor. Wayne here. Please.
Thank you for this interview. I'm Wayne Connor. I serve on the Macomb County Mental Health Commission right now. And I've been on the Veterans Services Commission too. And I'm well-rounded, and I've worked in the different committees. And I'm a Vietnam War vet. And it's a shame, what's going on with everybody all the way around, especially veterans. They're committing 45 a day suicide. In fact, a friend of mine just committed suicide last week. It's just a shame. I know it doesn't really have anything to do with this committee, but we still need to take care of our veterans and make sure they have a place in the community, that we help them as much as we can. And I have a I have an MBA from Baker, and I went to Oakland University for my undergrad, and I would appreciate your appointment to this position.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, thank you, Wayne.
Okay.
Oh, wait, come on back here. Wayne, come on back.
Oh, question, hold on.
The question that I asked Daniel, what's your strategy for dealing with the 9 districts in District?
What's the strategy for the district? It's a very, very large area. And I've lived out in Ray Township for like 32 years. And I know Don Brown real well. And my strategy is no matter where I go, I'm going to represent us as much as we can. And I'll try to be out in the public as much as possible. And if anyone ever has any questions, especially on veterans, I'll find an answer for them like right now. I'll just be out there visible, and they already know me because I went to Romeo School Board and I was on the library board for Ray Township. So they already know me pretty well out there. I would appreciate your appointment. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a question. Michael?
The previous applicant answered the question before I asked it, but one of my favorite things about Commissioner Don Brown is the first time I met him, it was actually down the street from my house, and I'm the southernmost district in Macomb County. So as a commissioner, all of us have to work with one another. How can you speak towards the partnership? And I guess I would access to everyone of from the north to the south end of the county. And thank you for your service, and to all the vets that are applying today. Thank you for your service.
I am here for veterans 100% no matter what. We have to take care of them.
One more question, Commissioner Wino.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, thank you for being here. It's today you're seeking this appointment. I do have a question, which is, do you plan on seeking the special election and running for the special election?
I couldn't hear what you said. What'd you say?
The question would be that there will be a special election for this seat.
Yes.
Do you plan on running for that seat?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do plan on running. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next, we have, say that again, Onorio D'Agostini.
You got it right, very well. Thank you very much to the board here for allowing me this opportunity to be considered for this vacated position. My name is Onorio D'Agostini. I born and raised in Macomb County. Started off in Roseville as a little kid and moved our way up through Sterling Heights, Shelby Township. Got married, obviously, about 30 years ago, and now I'm a current resident of Washington Township. My credentials are that my education is from Lawrence Tech. I have 3 degrees in architecture, ultimately with a master's degree. Self-employed, been building and developing for nearly 40 years, all of it which in Macomb County. We've done the Homoramas, we've partnered up with some of the larger developers in the county over the years. That being said, find myself on the backside, not the backside of my life, but of my career per se. Children are older, have their own careers, and I've been in Washington Township for just over 20 years now, watching the growth as it's culminated over the last several years, and being involved obviously in housing, seeing the shortage that there is currently in affordable housing, and it's only getting worse. We do a lot of development and whatnot in Clinton Township, dealing with the township itself, trying to find off sites that we can work together and bring in some affordable housing on some of the things that currently and some of our developments in Chesterfield and whatnot, we're just way overpriced, not because we want to be, it's just that's what the market details. So that being said, I find it an opportunity to get involved on the northern end of Macomb County because there's so much vast acreage there, and there's a ability and an opportunity to try to bring some of that into the areas that could definitely have some type of housing for the future generations. So it's something that definitely sparks my interest. And in dealing with the other communities, like I said, we've done all kinds of projects over the years. And I look forward to dealing with the other districts and whatnot, trying to make it all as a whole in the county itself and not just one specific district. Try to bring all that. I bring obviously a lot of knowledge in balancing numbers and dealing with people. I joke a lot and say that during the course of my career, maybe I shouldn't have sought an architecture degree. I should have sought a psychology degree, because all we do is deal with the clients, the people, tradespeople, and nothing ever seems to go the way you plan it out. So you're always renegotiating, you're always talking to people, trying to make the best of every situation and to get the max out of everybody.
So the question, what's your strategy in working with the 9 communities in District 1?
Obviously, it's like I said, definitely dealing with each district, because it's a whole, and it's not one specific district, District 1, that you have to look at only. How does it relate to dealing with all the other districts and what the needs are, and hopefully bringing it all together so it beautifies and unites the entire county.
Thank you. See no speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next individual is Kenneth DeCock.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Just a little correction. It's spelt that way, but it's pronounced DeCook.
Oh,
That's okay. It's just like there's no Z in Xerox and there's no W in Arkansas. It's just the way it is.
CK is pronounced Cook. Okay, thank you very
Supposedly,
much.
Grandpa came from Belgium near the French border and the last C is silent. That's what I was told,
Thank you.
but no problem. One thing I forgot to put on my application, just listening to the other ones, is I got an agricultural engineering degree. I told that to my wife when I first met her 30 years ago. And she looked at me, oh, you're a farmer. You can't fool a farm girl. But no, that's what I've been doing all my life. And there's where I feel I might be qualified or best qualified for this because of the vast area of District 1, which handles a lot of agricultural issues. You guys are very diverse, but unfortunately, I don't see nobody on there with a farming background. And there's some land issues that come before us and the committee and board that would need some answers. And the one example I can give is a number of years ago, one commissioner was proposing an ordinance for the county to ban phosphorus in fertilizer. Farmers need that. All the ground ain't the same. And there's where I got wind of it, got some people, some businesses, and we came and explained at the board meeting what was what, why we needed it, and maybe it should be worded differently, and it was taken care of. I've heard, and probably you've heard a number of times too, people say, somebody should do something, somebody should do this, somebody should go talk to that. Well, I try to take the stand as, if I can, I'm gonna be that somebody. I'm gonna express my opinion, find answers, and see what's what to do my part. Because nothing gets done when you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for somebody else to pick up the ball and go. So that's why I applied. I've known Don Brown, I think when it was his freshman year as a commissioner, which is a long time ago, but don't tell him that. I've had interaction with different legislators, commissioners, some of the former elected officials here on both sides, and got along and got things done and worked, even when Candace Miller was a U.S. representative. And you can ask her, I was a pain on her, but it was farm issues that I felt needed to be addressed, needed to be looked at, and expressing it to my representative, and through Don Brown, and through other members in Lansing and DC. So I commend you for different parties, but you still work together because you're looking for the benefit for Macomb County. Yes, your districts and District 1 is important, but how does that affect the rest of the county improve? Some of you might not be aware of, but a lot of business money, sales and that in the northern end goes through and helps benefit the local businesses here in Macomb County. And also, I'm in the fruits and vegetable growing business. The residents, you got a number of independent fruit stands, farm markets, Randazzo's, Salvaggio's. I've done business with them. If some of you can remember way back, there used to be another independent one named Pete and Frank's. I've done business with old Pete, and that's how old I am. What I mean is, when we're in season, we give benefits to the residents and also competition on price-wise. Because I've also grew up on Detroit Eastern Market. When we come online, prices drop down there. When we're not there, the imported stuff brings things up. That's part of the business, and that's also part of making you aware of why sometimes we need some attention at the north end. And I'd like to be that representative to do it.
Thank you.
So,
Standard question.
okay,
What's your strategy?
my strategy is what I just did this morning. On my resume, I listed, I am currently, and I got reelected, Chair of Macomb County Purchase of the Development Rights Committee, which is a committee formed by the northern 6 townships to address disappearing land, farmland. We had our meeting, we had our discussions. We have, each township has 2 voting members. One is required to be active in the agricultural industry. The other one is either on the township board or the planning commission to represent them. And that would be my strategy too, is because that's where I've been making contacts, meeting with people, getting acquainted, and got a little pulse on what's happening in the agriculture farm areas. And today, this morning at 8:00 in the morning, we had representatives from all 6 townships. Some of them are supervisors, some are trustees, treasurers, and regular common Joe. And fortunately, some of them are even farmers that are on their township board or planning commission. So every little bit has a different characteristic. And there's where a lot of them need to be heard on the ag issues that affect them and deals with the different departments that use oversee and budget.
Thank you. One more question, Commissioner Bueno.
Thank you. I may have missed it in your information there, but do you plan on running for the special election that will be forthcoming?
Yes, I'm planning on it.
Okay, and what would your plan be to win that special election?
Like the other ones, probably go out and meet more people. Like I say, I know almost anybody on, at least one board member on each township board that know a little bit from the villages, but there's also the farming things. And just like any other business, if somebody's realtors or retail stores, they kind of communicate with one another. That's the same with us farmers. We kind of communicate to see what's going on in that part. So there's where I feel I could bring the uniqueness of being a farmer, still active in farming, and the views of what's going on. Because, yeah, District 1's a big area, but you'd be surprised how many farmers in all the different 6 townships kind of got a pulse on what's happening or got means of finding out. And there's where I like to bring that here to the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Ken Goike.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, and thank you very much for this opportunity to be here to give a little history bio and the reason why I want to fulfill Don Brown's shoes if they're awful big to fill, but I think I have the resume for that. Real quickly, it's going to give me a couple minutes to go, but I'll start. I was born and raised in Clinton Township, Garfield Canal, went to school here at St. Mary's in Mount Clemens, still closed, graduated from Chippewa Valley, 1973. have taken classes at Macomb Community College, just basically for benefits of the trades that I've been in. Started out, living on a farm, doing, selling pumpkins and stuff and sweet corn myself, into an entrepreneurship at an early life. From there, went into doing deep excavating work for major contractors in Macomb County, learning the trades, belonging to Labor's Union as well as the Operating Engineers Union. Gives me, the experience of doing that. I got married in 1976, lived in Shelby for 4 years, moved up to Ray Township in 1980, and started my business of Goike Trucking and Excavating while still working, big jobs. From that time, raising my children, doing, what was important for that. We had foster children. We had foreign exchange students, trying to do what's right, as I was brought up, and my wife as well, to what's best for the community. During these times of when going into business for myself, did a lot of on-site work and a lot of work in our county, which gave me the opportunity to work with the Road Commission quite a bit and work with the Macomb County Health Department. And with all the experience of doing that, I was set on a board of Clean Water Action Committee up in Lansing because I was recommended by our county, director at the time. And I also helped develop from the point of sale program at the Macomb County Health Department when that was done. And I also helped them on what was called the swim team, when they were actively out looking for illegal discharges into all of our streams to clean up all the water in Macomb County. With that being said, I got on the Armada Fair Board around 1990, and I've been continuously reelected to that board and still running my own business and everything. I chaired that, and I also was president of Michigan Septic Tank Association for 10 years and doing legislative stuff, passing Part 117 on the code for land application and stuff, for on-site systems. Also, by doing that, it gave me the urge, because I couldn't get something passed, and I asked what it took, and I was told, well, you should run for office, so that's what I did. I ran for office for the state representative, and I was fortunate enough to win at the North End in 2010, and in the committees that I was put on, I had the opportunity to be the Macomb County Caucus, and I worked with their vice chair, Mr. Harold Hall here. And I think with that experience, he could testify that I worked very well with everybody in the room. We had a great caucus for doing what was right for Macomb County on securing stuff. I was chair of the Appropriations Committee, and that was a $320 million budget. And at that time, I was able to get Macomb Community College some funds for actually putting an addition on and, getting their budget going. But it was also with the help of the whole Macomb County Caucus, Republicans and Democrats together. So other things that was on is the Department of Transportation and also Natural Resources. So one of the things that I co-sponsored with a couple of other legislators was on our drainage issues. And we were able to take it away from the DEQ, put it back in the hands of our drain commissioner. So therefore, when I got termed out of office, I got elected 3 times by a good amount of, on the election. Candace Miller asked me to come and work for her in her department. So I worked for Candace for a little over 3 years doing the drain commission work. So it gave me a little bit more experience than what I had working around the whole county and in every township, every city, so to get a good feeling of what's necessary and what has to be done. I, still do farming on the side, with my grandson's got 16 Herefords right now, so that's a little bit of work. But, and I'm still active on the Armada Fair Board, and still, fill in the shoes with my son on doing work with our Goike Trucking and Excavating business. But I think this would be a great big good fit for me because I did represent the north end of Macomb County, and I pretty much know most of the supervisors. And right now I'm working with our Richmond Township on some drainage issues just as a non-paid person, and then as well as some within Ray Township as a non-paid person to actively fix that stuff. So I know all 6 communities up there. I know the south end and then working with everybody on the south end on what our main concerns are. Also did a lot of work with our Macomb County Intermediate School District, and we got a lot of good action when I was in the office for Macomb County as a whole. All of our team came together, and I'm speaking Democrats and Republicans. And I reached out to Mike DeVault just to ask if he said, that I could put his name in there, that we did a lot of good things for them. And I would most definitely, I never ran for this position before because I was always happy. I had Keith Reingart, previous to this. He was a great representation for us. We had George Adams before him, and then Don for over the last 30 years in doing it. And that's why I've never pursued this before, but I think it's right up my alley and I can be a benefit and an asset to everybody on this committee.
Thank you, Ken. Commissioner Zinner.
I do not have a question for this person. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thought I pulled it off. Thank you.
Commissioner Howard.
I apologize if I missed it, but, again, I met Don Brown at 9 and Mound for the first time. How will you work to advocate for Macomb County, including those all the way down to 8 Mile?
Well, I've already, in my previous, when I was a state representative, we as Macomb County, we all work together and to find out some stuff. The biggest experience I have with the southern part, other than doing the drainage work, which I know is a lot of necessary stuff down at north of 8 Mile Road all the way across, St. Clair Shores having problems in Warren with the drains and stuff like that, and then road issues, but also with the schools. I didn't ask local one of MEA, but they were very favorable to me when I was in office because I did a lot of work for special needs children, and I could work with the education. One of the major problems with South Macomb is there's over 50, dialects and languages that's coming to these schools, and these teachers are having to deal with that, and it's not an easy thing to do, as well as feeding children and people moving very often and getting used to being in the same school. So that's another huge asterisk. And to find out what we do here as a commission, if I'm elected to here, of what we can actually help them with, I'm all ears to work with everybody from the south to the middle to the north, east and west of Macomb County.
Thank you. Is that it, Michael? Kenny, standard question. Hey, Ken, get back to having been a state rep, obviously you've worked with the 9 communities. So what would be your district, or what would be your strategy as a county commissioner?
Well, for just my District 1 or for the whole community?
District 1.
District 1, to work with. I know what the biggest issues are still up there. We still got to represent our farming community. Our drainage issues are huge, as well as the roads and the bridges. Them are huge, huge problems in it. And in my previous career there, I worked a lot with Don Brown, on the water issues, working with, in Candace's department. So I know what the county drains, all of that, and then being that I help write the legislation for us getting the monies and stuff on that and how it actually works, I can be a benefit to everybody here and be a team player with everyone here. So because I know I'll be, representing Washington, Bruce, Richmond, Armada, Lenox, and Ray Townships. I'm very familiar with everybody pretty much there.
Thank you.
Any other
Any other?
questions?
Seeing no other? Thank you, Ken. Next is Andrew Hale.
Good afternoon, everyone. My voice is a little messed up from a cheer competition for my daughter last night, so apologize for that. I've fourth generation in Washington Township. My mother lived in Romeo Village. I live in Romeo Village, so I've been there my entire life. My first home was in Richmond City. My second home was in Sterling Heights, but when my kids were born, we moved back to the village. I love the north of Macomb. It's been my entire life. Currently, I am on the Planning Commission for the Village of Romeo. I'm the ZBA for the Village of Romeo. I'm the chairperson. I am on my 5th year being on the board for the Romeo Lions Club. I'm the past president now. Last year, we had a banner year for the Peach Festival where I chair numerous events for the festival itself. Professionally, I'm a tax assessor. I work for Chesterfield Township. I hold the MAO designation, which is level 3. I have 10 years in assessing. I worked right here in this building on the 6th floor for county equalization before I went to Chesterfield. I feel that would be a unique perspective coming to this board, is having professional understanding of tax from the public and private side. To answer your question about dealing with the 9 communities from Shelby all the way to Memphis, it's just listen, understand, make sure they have your contact information, be approachable, be honest, and do everything you can to understand their problems that they are having or their concerns and bring them to the board as best as you can articulate them. To answer Commissioner Howard's question, when I worked for Macomb County Equalization, we would work from 8 Mile to Boardman, from county line to DeQuinder. I've been all throughout the county, but it's the same. Just be understanding, be approachable, be willing to listen to questions that people have, understand their concerns, be invested. You know, it's not just listen and turn it off. It's about being involved in what's going on. It's, you know, we are all Macomb, so listening from that angle. I think that's all I have for myself. Does anybody else have any questions for me?
Thank you. Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Next is Gary Kopp. I hope I said that right.
Well, it's Kopp, like cook, Kopp. Good afternoon. My name is Gary Kopp, and I would like to thank you for considering my application for County Commissioner. A little about me. I was elected as a Washington Township trustee in 2018 and served until November of 2024. In that time, I was also on Planning Commission, Infrastructure, and other appointed committees. With 6 years of trustee experience, and with experience gained while on the Romeo District Library Board, treasurer for the local cable provider, and our parish finance committee, I've developed a deep understanding of governance, public service, and strategic oversight, all of which have prepared me for this opportunity. In my township role, the trustees were partners focused on making the best decisions for the residents. My public, along with my private sector engineering experience, equipped me with the ability to analyze data and effectively contribute to the policy-making processes. Secondly, I was involved in numerous community engagement initiatives that sought to foster transparent communication between our board and its residents. This helped me understand the importance of community input and accountability, ensuring that the decisions reflected the best interests of the public. One such example was our Washington Township Memorial Park. With the need for a park, and as an Army veteran, I stepped up to chair a 501c3 made up of like-minded residents who helped fundraise, design, and construct the new park, which was dedicated to both military and first responders. The committee worked with Lombardo Homes over a 3-year period to construct our final design. The Washington Township Memorial Park was dedicated in 2022 and subsequently granted to the township with no cost to the residents for its construction. Thirdly, my board experience has given me knowledge of financial oversight. Working with other board members, we ensured that the township's budget met fiscal responsibility standards while addressing the strategic goals of our township. I was appointed to the union bargaining team, where new 5-year contracts were negotiated with 5 different unions, all without a tax increase. This skill is essential for a county commissioner's role, where budgeting, administration, and resource allocation play a critical part in serving our county. Finally, I'm a strong proponent of teamwork, which I believe is vital when working with fellow board members, stakeholders, and residents to achieve common goals. My life experiences have given me the ability to make decisions, evaluate complex issues, and important, effective solutions promptly. Furthermore, my board experience has provided me with a deep understanding of best practices and strategic planning. County initiatives such as administration, economic development, roads and infrastructure, health and welfare, safety, labor, and veteran support are key to my vision for Macomb County. Thank you for considering me. I look forward to the possibility of contributing to the continued success of Macomb County by supporting a collaborative, transparent, and effective government for the Macomb County residents. To support your question, I'll save you the time. As far as the strategy is concerned, I know there are like 27 different jurisdictions within the Macomb County, 9 of which are inside of District Number 1. My plan would be to sit down with all the stakeholders in each of those jurisdictions and actually sit down and talk to them and say, how can I help? Or get to know you, get to find out what the strategies are locally, and also figure out what I can do to help. Globally or countywide, I would sit down with each of the commissioners because I think each of you probably have your pulse on exactly what's going on within your jurisdictions. So that would be my commitment to the strategy on how I would better understand. I'm a Washington-centric guy, have been for the last 6 years, lived in Macomb County for 52 years of that, from Sterling Heights to Shelby, and now in Washington Township. So I've been around the county for a long, long time. But in any event, that's my speech. If you have any questions, I'd be willing to entertain them.
Seeing no questions, thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Next is Patrick Kosal.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for all that you do here. My name is Troy Kosal. I'm a lifelong resident of Macomb County. I have 21 years in the military, retired. First in the infantry as a platoon sergeant. I had 2 deployments to Iraq and then 1 over at Selfridge as a pilot. I was the unit movement officer when we went to Afghanistan. I was in charge of moving over $100 million worth of equipment to and from country. I have 4 kids that my wife and I raise here in Romeo Public Schools. We also have a private business that's been in my wife's family since 1897 that we're continuing to renovate and keep open for our children. I currently have a master's degree from U of M in public administration. I served on the Washington Township, or currently serve on the Zoning Board of Appeals. I was the 2024 chairman, and I've been the past commander of the Romeo VFW for the last 3 years. Watching this board doesn't lack leadership. Listening to your board meetings, it'd be difficult to discern what party each of you belong to, and I believe that's a testament to what local politics should be. It's a testament to maybe what all politics should be. I admire the work that you do on this board because it's clear you respect each other. Each one of you represents the people here in Macomb County along with your own district. I believe that the goal of the commissioner should be the betterment of our community without pride or ulterior motives. So thank you again for what you do. Macomb County is in good shape financially. We have strong leadership. We have good programs for our senior citizens, for our students. We have educational programs. Businesses come here to flourish. I'm not looking to change anything. I'm looking to continue and learn from what you all are doing. I look forward to working with everybody. Communication is very important. From the military, all the way up and down, talking with people, learning from people, listening, and listening with respect. I promise to work with you in your districts as well. When you need something, I think it was in the last board meeting, listening to outgoing members and how many of you thanked the ones that were leaving. I'm even talking about when Don Brown went down to your district and helped pick up trash. I believe that's what commissioners do. They work with each other. When one district has a problem or needs help, the other districts should jump in and support, because when one of them's stronger, we're all stronger. We're all part of Macomb County. I believe that we're on a positive road here in Macomb County, and I look forward to working with everybody here. So thank you again for your time. As far as the 9 districts in the northern end, one of the things I noticed about Don Brown the first time I met him was that he was at every event. He would come to events, he would put himself out there, he would talk with people, he'd listen. And that's the biggest thing, is we have great events up in northern and southern, all over Macomb County, but putting yourself out there and actually meeting with the people, listening and hearing what people have to say. As far as running for office, I do plan to run again. It's a big district. I did run for supervisor in Washington Township unsuccessfully, but I knocked on a lot of doors. I know what it is to go out and meet people, to put together a team, and to just walk around, talk to people, door to door, and meet with those that you represent. Again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Seeing no questions, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Thomas Matthews.
Honorable Commissioners and staff, good afternoon. Thank you for your consideration for a position for me among your staff. My presentation is divided into 3 sections. The first is some background information on my education and my business career with skills that I believe are transferable to this venue right here. The second is my work currently going on in the Macomb County Older Adults Advisory Committee with Commissioner Zinner as the leader. That includes, of course, my work with Commissioner Van Sickle as a Macomb County representative on ageways. Lastly, I have 6 reasons for being here. I'll share those with you. Let me now proceed to section 1. I have an MBA from the University of Detroit in accounting. I had a 3.75 average while I worked. It was a hard road, but I made it. For almost 38 years, I was a technical manager for Michelin North America. I progressed through the engineering ranks. In the last 9 years of that career, Michelin entrusted me with as one of their engineering representatives with Ford Motor. In addition to that, I was given responsibility of 2 vehicle platforms that represent the most profitability to Ford and the most visibility on the planet, those being F-Series and Mustang. And in those 9 years, I successfully homologated, that's a term we use for a sign-off on a tire for future model year vehicles. For instance, now we're in year 2025, we're working on 2028 projects. Secondly, my experience here within Macomb County. In September of 2023, Commissioner Brown appointed me to the Older Adults Advisory Committee. 3 months later, he felt that my contribution was significant, and he then appointed me to be one of the Macomb County representatives for Ageways, a position I share with Commissioner Van Sickle. Now, I'll give you a testimonial. I'll stop there for a moment. I have this in writing. Commissioner Brown said to me the following 3 things. He said, "You are a role model, you're doing an outstanding job, and thank you for your leadership in the Older Adults Advisory Committee." Those are his exact words, and I have that in writing. Now, I've also worked with our local community, Washington Township, and I see our supervisor, Mr. Praviti, is here. He's a great person. He's doing a fantastic job for our city. I work with him. It's very enjoyable serving your community. Now, lastly, the 6 reasons why I'm here: opportunity, growth, experience, service, building relationships, and making a difference. Those 6 can be brought to bear to your question, Commissioner Hall, as to my strategy. Now, let me share something with you. Let me back up a minute, what I did on the OAAC, all right? How much time?
You're at 3, so let's conclude.
All right. I did 3 things. I requested Commissioner Brown generate a brochure so that I could distribute it to our citizens on the work of the OAAC, and he did that. Number 2, I wrote and televised a PSA for our cable channel, WBRW. Commissioner Zinner, you said you saw it. What did you say to me? It was very nice. All right. Number 3, I have initiated research by my persistence and tenacity, and you'll find that I am a persistent and tenacious person. To begin work in November, we did, for a social isolation study for our senior citizens who may spend their entire day by themselves. I've met with numerous experts in the field, and I hope one day, through Commissioner Zinner, we will bring you a recommendation for programs to help our socially isolated seniors. And let me tell you, this is not isolated to only seniors. Gen Z and millennials report upwards of 45% of them have either no friends or few friends. This computer is not your friend. I'm sorry. That concludes my remarks. Now, there were some questions?
I just want to make a comment. I have not heard the term homologated since I retired from the International Division at General Motors. You're the first one I've heard use that term.
Well, I come from a French company. It may have a French derivation.
That explains a lot.
By the way, Commissioner Hall, I believe you know my nephew, Robert De Bruin.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Is that,
Commissioner Bueno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So my question would be, do you plan on seeking the forthcoming special election? And if so, what would your plan be to run for that special election?
I have to tell you, I'm here not because I'm serving Caesar, because I'm serving God. I enjoy the work I'm doing on the OAAC, and hopefully I bring benefit to my seniors. So the answer to your question is no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next is Jacob Newby. Come on, Jacob, tell me I got that name right.
You did, yeah.
Thanks.
It's a unique name for sure. Hi there, commissioners. I appreciate this open and transparent process for appointing the new commissioner. I've served as a trustee in Addison Township for 6 years. I was elected, then appointed to an open seat. I've worked with a lot of governmental bodies before, like SEMCOG. We worked with our local cable commission. And really, I just view governmental service as actual service. Working with the local people in my area, I think I've knocked over 26,000 doors in total. But of course, I volunteer for a lot of political campaigns. So that balances out, not just in Addison Township. I'm the owner of a part owner of a Juliet Chocolate Factory in Romeo, Michigan. You may have known about it. We've been in business for about 45 years. Of course, I'm not 45 years old, but you know, it's an important thing. I think that you had a business, especially a small business, and that you can represent the community you come from. I'm also the owner of Next Strategies, which is a marketing company, and we work with political candidates and small businesses as well. I also worked as an assistant scoutmaster for Troop 87. I was an Eagle Scout with them, and so I felt a duty to give back to them after I graduated the scouting program. Working with my community is something I just view as extremely important because giving back, you know, I don't think I've taken too much from my community, but giving back's important to me. It's been important to my family who ran the soccer league before me, North Macomb Community Youth Soccer, which I've been involved in since I was, I think, 7 years old. And that's when they started it. My grandparents had the North Macomb Soccer Club. And really, we just like serving others because it's a good thing to do. Really, I can break down what I am in public service, community service, and some business knowledge. So I would love to be a representative of my people. And to your question, Mr. Howard, I would say that we are representatives of our local communities, but we're supposed to work as a team to benefit all of Macomb County. Because when you fix a road in South Macomb County, it does benefit North Macomb County. And that's basically about me. And I like to keep it short and sweet because I like chocolate, so I figure that's part of that.
I appreciate that. The standard question on the 9 districts, how do you strategize on dealing with all of that?
Well, not to give away any election strategies, should I get the appointment. But I do like working with local governments. I think it's important that commissioners and representatives continually are in contact with the local governments. And that's where I would start, going to their meetings, attending, chatting with the leadership of each township. I think the trustees all the way to the supervisor are very important, and in villages, in the cities, just as important. So,
Thank you very much.
yeah.
I can be bought with chocolate. Did you bring any chocolate?
I didn't. I didn't want to have it considered as a bribe. So, yes.
Thank you for not doing that.
Yeah.
Seeing no questions, thank you very much.
All right. I appreciate your time.
I didn't see Supervisor Sam walk in, but I see him back in the audience, so welcome, Sam. Next is Keith Ringart.
Good afternoon, and congratulations on your reelection for commissioners here, and the newly elected two from Warren. My name's Keith Ringart. I live in Richmond Township. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity and probably answer some of the questions that have already come up as we go along. I will not be running for election, but I'm interested in the in the continuation of the term until the date is set for your election for the new county commissioner, District 1. I will be, like I said, running for the partial term and will not run after. Very familiar with District 1. It's the northern end, and I'm from Richmond Township, lifelong resident of Richmond Township. When I was county commissioner for 8 years, I did have 6 of the 9 districts in the northern end, so I'm very familiar, and I think I could fit in, you know, as a replacement for Don Brown until the election is held. Education, employment, lifelong resident, like I said, of Richmond High School. Attended and graduated from Western Michigan University with a bachelor degree, Wayne State University with a master's degree, retired after 31 years with L'Anse Creuse Public Schools. It was all good. Elected and appointed history. I was first elected in 1984, Richmond Township trustee, and was elected thereafter as treasurer and ended my time there as supervisor of Richmond Township. From there, I moved on and ran for election for county commissioner, which I successfully won in 2002 and was elected 4 other terms for 8 years there. So I had 18 years township experience working at the township, and then 8 years with the county. In working with the county, I do have a very good understanding of village, city, township government, as well as county government. The appointments that I've had through my years, a couple of them that related to the county, I was chairman of Justice and Public Safety as a county commissioner, chair of Operational Services, also chair of the Macomb County Solid Waste Committee, and a member of just about every other committee there was on the county level. I think it would be beneficial, to Macomb County that I would fit in for the temporary, position until, so the interim position, until the election is held. I'd entertain any questions that you'd have. I'm very pleased with the number of candidates. I know like 5 of them quite closely. And I think when you talk about the northern end, whether you live in Ray Township or Armada Township or any of those townships, the people that are, here now, they know each other quite well, because even though we're not in a smaller city area, we know each other through clubs, organizations, and the like. Any questions, Mr. Chair?
Thank you. Seeing none, thank you very much. Next is Douglas Steyer.
Close. Good afternoon, Commissioners. You have a monumental job ahead of you, I can see. My name is Douglas Steer. I was born and raised in Waldenburg, Michigan, over there in 22 Romeo Plank. I served 10 years, almost 10 years on the school board of New Haven. Most of those years were as vice president. Had to make some tough decisions there as far as students and the way to keep the school running. Been the treasurer of Ray Township for 12 years. In that 12 years, if you remember, we had the upside down time of our housing, and it was rough being a treasurer then, because people were coming in and saying, how come my taxable value is going up, but my assessed value is going down? And that was a very tough time, but we made it through it, and I'm still here to talk about it. So as far as my accomplishments, I was on the Planning Commission for Ray Township. I became a master planner. took care of a lot of issues. I took the township from, I was part of the team, because it takes a team. I was part of the team that took the township from just over $100,000 when I left after the 12th year. We were at 1.5 million in the bank. So we did very hard, very strenuous work as far as trying to get our bank account back up and running. When I left, I decided to leave, and I backed the person that is there now. Her name is Elizabeth Bart, and she's doing a very great job there. I'm still in contact with all of them there at the township. I still stay active in the township as much as I can. Sometimes they think I might be a little bit too active, but it is what it is. Went to college. I took classes like some of my fellow candidates here. I took classes that pertained to what I was doing. Became a senior buyer for a corporation, purchasing agent, senior buyer and stuff. As far as taking care of the nine districts up there in District 1, my plan would be much like some of the others here, is I would probably set up a meeting with each one of them and discuss what their issues are, find out what's going on, and take it from there and bring it to this board. Find out what we can do to rectify some of these issues. My phone was always on, it always rings, so I would be open to any phone calls, all phone calls. And as far as the 13 or the 12 members here of this commission, I would again do the same thing, meet with each and one of you and figure out what it is that we have in common, what it is that we can do to reach an end goal as far as what we can do to better our communities and take it forward from there. What else? Other than that, I don't have, that's about as much as I have for you right now. I would like to, your question. Yes, I would. I would run again, or I would, after the special election, I would throw my hat in the ring to continue to run as a commissioner to fill out the rest of the term. Okay, and I do have one question for you. Do you have an idea when you're going to have the special election?
There's going to be a resolution passed, I believe, at our next full board meeting.
Okay. I was just curious, that's all.
Right now, I think it's tentative. It would be a 2-year partial term.
Oh, well, okay, very good. Well, that's good then. Okay, that's good. Because you got to have, it's going to take at least a year to get the ball rolling, right? For the new guy to get going, and the new gal to get going. So, and you've had,
Thank you.
pardon me?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. But at any rate, 2 years is good then. That would take some time to get used to, me get used to you and you get used to me, so that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Other than that, if there's any other questions, I would be more than happy to.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you and good luck.
Last but not least, Jeff Yarrick.
Good afternoon, Honorable Commissioners. I am Jeff Yarrick, and I appreciate the opportunity to be considered for this opportunity to continue to serve Northern Macomb County. It's nice to hear, I'm an Eagle Scout. It's nice to hear someone else mention that they were an Eagle Scout. Love seeing that scouting tradition continue. I have made Macomb my home for my entire life. I feel that I bring a unique and very varied experiences as I was a local elected official, a state elected official. I've been a small business owner, and I've been a firefighter for 27 years. City Council. Richmond is a small community, but we are in the very much have many services. We provide roads, sewer, water, law enforcement. So many of the services on a smaller scale, the city provides very much same as the county. So I'm very familiar with that service delivery, how all those pieces work. Unfortunately, a lot of those things do not come up on trivia night, inflow, effluent, but fortunately enough, it works well when you're an elected official. As I said, in line with your commissioner's mission statement, one team, one mission, I will say the Richmond City Council was nonpartisan. We had people who are liberal. We had people who are conservative. I've learned the very important lesson of working to consensus and also being able to debate the issue and not the person. It was a very important lesson that I learned there. We all stuck together. I was in office during the post 9/11 recession, so there was some tough times trying to figure out. There wasn't any option for raising taxes. We actually had to lower taxes. We were one of the highest tax communities in the state, and we needed to bring tax relief to them because people were losing their homes. We actually came up with a long-term road plan, and things are going well there. I have a lot of public service experience, but I've learned private sector experience from having a small business and having a BBA. I think it's important to have both perspectives of each sector to really understand all the issues. My 27 years of firefighting experience affords me my firsthand perspective of government at the service level. Those issues like the opioid crisis, community mental health issues, I lived it. I firsthand saw it in the streets as a paramedic assisting people. So I really got to see many of those things firsthand. Also, I would say as a firefighter, we are very solution-oriented people. Very much, we don't have time for long deliberations. We see issues and say, what's the issue? Let's fix it. I know many of the nurses here, I think you can appreciate that. There's a time, we just can't wait. We have to get the information and go forward. Well, working as a firefighter, I completed my law degree. I think my law school experience has very much assisted me. You know, when I went to law school, I really kind of thought I was learning law. It's really about learning how to take issues into smaller pieces and work through it, do the research, and figure out how you solve those. Former Commissioner Brown shared with me that he wanted someone to replace him that was very available to constituents. And I will point you to Supervisor Greenia and Mr. Shelton's letters that were attached. Both of them very much talk about how available I was when I was a state rep and how I served them and resolved the issues that they brought to me. Because listening is important and then action going with it is important. Last meeting, Commissioner Howard, I appreciate your comment that you said your first day, you already had phone calls coming in. I have this similar experience because when I was elected to the House, the Fraser sinkhole was going on. And very quickly, I needed to learn how to legislate quickly because we needed help in Macomb County. Fortunately, I ended up being on the Appropriations Committee. I served my 6 years on appropriations, but that really helped with helping on those issues. I also have 17 years of local government budget experience. Since so much of this job is oversight and budget, and being on the county commissioners, I was on the Oversight Committee in Lansing, and I was also at appropriations. My former House district covers much of that commission district, so I'm already very familiar with the issues of that area. And since Commissioner Brown's resignation, I've been in touch with many of the elected officials through that area, speaking to them, seeing what the issues are, any new issues that have come up, and I feel very familiar with what kind of getting the ball rolling right at the beginning of things that they've brought up, in addition to the things I was already aware of. While state rep, I worked on many county concerns. For example, I support Commissioner Miller's efforts to get AGLE to support her innovative plan to address sewage overflows. I think many of you are former House members, and I think you appreciate the difficulty dealing with our bureaucracy at some times. And even Public Works Commissioner Miller, even with her stature, still had fights dealing with the bureaucracy on what was very good ideas on how to prevent sewer overflows in Macomb County. I wanted to just take a moment to thank Commissioner Sabatini, Commissioner Kraft, also Commissioner Brown. All of them were great partners when I was a House member working together. There were issues that were somewhat state or somewhat county, and I appreciate it. Commissioner Kraft, working in Lansing, often come over to his office. I really appreciate his guidance when, especially when he had a mental health issue, particularly his experience on CMH, and he was often a great resource for me then. So with that, I will say thank you for your consideration. I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you. Commissioner Howard.
Forgive me if I missed it, but how will you work to advocate for Macomb County, including those all the way down to 8 Mile?
Okay, so as state rep, I think I've already shown this, but I mean, but I'll tell you about it, is my view is that I think most of generally Macomb County reps were kind of sticking together, whether you're Republican or Democrat, for the good of Macomb County. So issues like Act 51, which, as we know, we're a donor county, so fighting for the county as a whole. Chapton Reservoir, the sewer backups that are going, the overflows that are in the southeast corner, that was not in my district, but I thought it was very important to assist Commissioner Miller with those issues. I was also on the EGLE subcommittee, so I thought it was a kind of area to really work on. I mean, frankly, although my residents don't touch Metro, and I'm sorry, to me it'll always be Metro, I'm sorry. But my residents go to Metro, and they don't want to be swimming in sewage that's overflown, and particularly, we all have the problem with Oakland County sewage, coming in from Oakland County. So on many fronts, there was issues that I worked on. There were other parts of the county because, as I said, we pride ourselves on our blue economy. So even though my district did not touch the water, I felt that as Macomb County, our blue economy was important to all of us.
Thank you.
Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Jeff.
Hello.
Jeff, would you be leaving the fire department if you were appointed and elected?
So I retired from the fire department to go into the legislature. And because you can't work for another government entity while you're a legislator, it's in the Constitution. I will say that after leaving the legislature, there were some promises I made to my family. I have a very supportive wife. And she said, make the most of this role because very few people get this chance. So I was very busy as a legislator, very, very busy around the district. And when I left public office in that work, I made good on my promises to my wife. And she said, well, I figured I think you're going to, now that you've fulfilled your promises, I think you're going to want to get back involved. So I'm getting to your question. So I've joined New Haven Fire Department, recruited me. They were in my house district. They felt my 27 years of firefighting experience was a benefit. So I work there part-time. So I don't work full-time on 24-hour shifts. They're bringing me on as a part-time firefighter, so.
When you say part-time, would you elaborate on what do you mean by part-time? Are
So
you on call?
they work shifts during the day. They'll pick hours during the day. So they don't have 24-hour-a-day coverage. They cover times that they have difficulty staffing because it's a paid-on-call department, so they have part-time. So I don't believe there'll be a conflict between my role here and there because they're very flexible about the hours. So.
Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions, thank you, Jeff.
All right, thank you.
That concludes the interview process. Jean Rochelle Zott is unable to attend, but did speak at the last meeting. The plan is to forward all the nominees to the full board meeting, which will take place on January 23rd for a vote. I can't thank everybody that applied enough. I'm sure our former chairman would be extremely proud of the amount of candidates with the various qualifications, veterans, Eagle Scouts, academia, former treasurers, former planning commission members, well represented for District 1. So with that, I'll take a motion to refer the names to full board.
Support, Lucido.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wallace, supported by Commissioner Lucido. Any questions? Please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all the applicants that took the time today for the interview process. That concludes. Next item on the agenda is proclamations. I need a motion to refer proclamation commending Don Brown for serving as Macomb Commissioner Chairman, proclamation commending David Lavender upon his retirement with Macomb County Schools, proclamation congratulating paramedic Nina Simon for being named 2024 EMS practitioner, proclamation congratulating, oh boy, Adriana Popzinski for achieving a perfect score on the M-step test, a proclamation honoring Norbert Gallus on occasion of his 100th birthday. A motion would be in order to refer all these to full board. I have a motion by Commissioner Van Sickle, seconded by Commissioner Grott.
I am.
Do it that way. You two sound alike over there. How's that? Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please vote.
Voices change.
Or not.
Or not.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Our agenda is kind of unique this evening. I'm going to be handing the gavel over to our Finance Audit and Budget Committee Chairman, Commissioner Kraft. But then at the end, after Commissioner's comments, we have to go into closed session for a government oversight recommendation. So either Commissioner Kraft is going to do that or he's going to throw the gavel back at me. So with that, I'm very proud to turn this over to our new Finance Audit and Budget Committee Chairperson, Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Chair Hall. I appreciate that. And I will be throwing the gavel at you at some point. Just, it could be sooner, it could be later. We're not sure. With that, we will open up the Finance Audit and Budget Committee, the first of this term, and I will head to department recommendations. Item A, Resolution 2025-12865, a resolution approving the 2023 deficit elimination plan for the Macomb Community Action Grant Fund. I will take a motion to refer that to full board.
So moved.
Support.
Motion from Commissioner Haas, support from Commissioner Romano. Vicky, thank you for your patience.
Oh,
Let's go.
Nope, you're welcome. Glad to be here. Nice to see everyone. The item you have before you is the result really of a general fund contribution that was not made in fiscal year 2023. It's a normal contribution within the Macomb Community Action Grant Fund. There are general fund dollars that are contributed based on the expense. That contribution did not happen for 2023. Unfortunately, it was not caught during the audit process. So when the audit was submitted to the state late last year, it was recognized by the state that we had a deficit within the audit. So Finance Department corrected that, made the contribution last year in 2024. However, the state requires actual resolution by the Board of Commissioners recognizing a deficit elimination plan. So that is what you have before you today. All the documentation and the resolution language itself has already been approved by the state. They're now just looking for the formal adoption of the resolution.
Thank you, Vicky. Any questions from commissioners? I'm not seeing any. I have a motion and support. Commissioners, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vicky. Next, we will move on to correspondence. I'll take a motion to receive and file the Central Intake and Assessment Center Dashboard Report dated January 2025.
Support Zinner.
Motion from Commissioner Wallace, support from Commissioner Zinner. We do have Dr. Amboyer here if we have any questions, but it is my understanding that the whole team will be here next month to provide a more complete presentation. Are there any questions for Dr. Amboyer? Okay, seeing none.
Don have any presentations?
Did you have anything to share with us?
No, sir. I just want to congratulate everyone on their election. And I was here actually to answer any questions you might have relative to the dashboard report. But we're looking forward to presenting the quarterly report at the February meeting.
Thank you, Doctor. I don't see any speakers, so thank you. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, sir.
Please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Next, we will move on to public participation. Anybody from the public wishing to speak? You have 3 minutes. Just come up to the podium, give us your name. Anybody from public participation? Mr. Supervisor, it's a long walk from the back row.
That's what you get for hiding back there, Sam.
It's kind of nice sitting in the back.
The floor is
First off, I'd like to thank Don Brown for his service on behalf of Washington Township and congratulate Mr. Sabatini and thank all of you. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here today to offer my full endorsement of Jeff Yorich as your next county commissioner to replace Don Brown. Jeff Yorich, record of public service speaks for himself. He served as a respected member of the Michigan House of Representatives and spent many years before that as a firefighter, paramedic, and Richmond City Council member. His leadership, dedication, and extensive experience makes him an outstanding candidate for this role. In Washington Township, the largest municipality in District 1, we value leaders who understand our priorities, preserving our rural character, supporting responsible development, and enhancing our strong agricultural heritage. Jeff embodies these values. He's committed to fostering collaboration among Washington Township, Bruce, and the Village of Romeo, where we have a supporting vital community programs like our public library, Parks and Recreation, and Star Transportation. As a former legislator, he already has the experience in working with other municipalities, and he'd be a strong candidate in the upcoming special election. Jeff is also a dedicated family man, a husband and father of 2 daughters. His deep roots in our community and his legal expertise equip him to represent the Northern Macomb County with integrity and vision. As Supervisor of Washington Township, I urge you to please vote for Jeff Yurich as your next county commissioner. He's a proven leader who will protect the rural conservative values we hold dear while ensuring our district's interests are represented with strength and dedication. I'd also like to do a special shout out to Tom Matthews. No one cares more about senior services than this man, Tom Matthews. He really advocates. He's always in our senior center, and I like to give him a shout out for his involvement with the seniors. So I thank you for your time, and thank you for your work.
Thank you. Anybody else for public participation? Anybody else? All right, seeing none, we will close public participation and we will move on to commissioners' comments. Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. I have to tell you guys, you make it tough for us, and ladies who's not here. You really do. I mean, we have some outstanding, and I'll repeat it, some outstanding applicants. Your records show that you've all would like to participate in public service, and a lot of you have already. And your credentials are stellar, and I'm just saying, you're going to make it very difficult for us as commissioners to pick one of you. But thank you so much, all of you, for applying. And that's all I have, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Romano. Any other commissioners wishing to speak? All right, seeing none, we will close commissioner comments. And we will move on to item 13. I will take a motion to enter into closed session to discuss Macomb County Circuit Court Case Number 2024-00818-NF.
So moved.
Motion from Commissioner Haw, support from Commissioner Zinner. Please vote. As you're throwing me off, I got to read the whole case number.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you.
Motion by Commissioner Lucido, supported by Commissioner Romano. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Next item is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Support Center.
We have motion and support. All in favor, please vote.
Get a song.
And I'm going to do the opposite of Sarah yesterday. We are. Did we have the votes, Adrian?
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you.